We've been waiting for this moment for literal decades, and it's finally here. Halo the Series has officially premiered. In our first episode of Halo the Series Declassified, we're joined by our Master Chief, series star, Pablo Schreiber, as we take a look at what goes into bringing the iconic character to life. Plus, our pal Cortana is gonna give those new to the franchise a quick Halo primer, and there'll be plenty of other surprises along the way. Time to report for duty, Spartans, because this mission is deploying right now. Welcome to Reach, everybody. My name is Sydnee Goodman, and this is Halo the Series Declassified. This is the show where we're going to discuss all the buzzworthy moments from each new episode of Halo, now streaming exclusively on Paramount+. It's going to be a ton of fun. We'll be joined by cast members, celebrity fans, and of course, members of the passionate Halo community who have turned this franchise into a global phenomenon. We're starting things off with the master...
Excuse me, Sydnee?
Yes, Cortana? Cortana, everybody?
It seems you've forgotten one of your primary directives as the host of this program, which is to issue the appropriate precautionary measures for viewers about to consume this episode.
Precautionary measures, it's just a show. I'm not sure we're in any real danger here. That mission deploying stuff was just some clever in-universe parlance, you know?
The data tells me there is potential danger of plot and/or character dynamics that could go rotten.
Oh, you mean a spoiler warning. Luckily, we're keeping it pretty spoiler-free this time around, but thank you for the heads up, Cortana.
Always here to help.
As I was saying, there's only one way to kick off Declassified, and that's to be joined by the Master Chief himself. Take a look. Coming in from a remote UNSC base somewhere out in the cosmos, it's John 117 in the flesh, Pablo Schreiber. Pablo, thank you so much for joining us on the first ever episode of Declassified.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited to finally be here.
Pablo, first, I have to ask the big question. What was your relationship to Halo before taking on the role of Master Chief?
My relationship to Halo was periphery. I had played it a few times as a young adult. Wasn't very good at it when I played it before, but was aware of it, obviously, was aware of its place and cultural significance. But for me, the journey of this role has been about learning, about Halo and not just its cultural significance, but the depth of the mythology has really been the thing that has blown me away. Eventually ended up going up to Seattle and having a boot camp with 343 and learning everything more in depth. There's so much there for storytelling. There's so much to pull from. There's so much to draw from. I'm so excited for not just what we have to do this season, but for coming seasons.
Definitely very, very excited as well. Was there a moment that during your discovery process kind of cemented to you how iconic Master Chief in the Halo universe is?
The aha moment in terms of realizing what it meant to so many people came after the process of learning about the show and learning all that stuff. It really started to dawn on me then what it means, for so many people and how important the world is within the Halo community. And I really respect that. I really love that.
So you kind of touched on it a bit, kind of that expectation. This is a role with a ton of expectation tied to it. I mean, we already know there's going to be a second season. Has that affected kind of how you're going to prepare going into that? Or is it something that you've preferred to kind of appreciate but tune out completely when it comes to you and the role?
Yeah, I would say probably closer to the second. The reality is, as storytellers and as artists, we have to follow our own instincts, So I had to make my own choices about what was going to be interesting about the role and what was going to be interesting about the character and what was going to be interesting about the series, and then go forward, as strongly and as committed as I could to make the story that I believe was going to be the most compelling and the most interesting. In terms of expectations, I'm aware that it's a role that people will have a lot of expectations about, and we play with those expectations in some ways, and in some ways we'll fulfill what people expect from the role. In other ways, we're going to surprise people. The video game is a first-person shooter video game, and they treat the character in one way because of the nature of the medium. Television show is a very, very different medium, and what works for video games is very different than what works for TV, and what's going to pay off for a long-form television series and for the character within that. There's just so many factors involved in trying to make a TV show that is compelling and that will please everybody. But the most important thing for us is that a lot of hard work was put in. We treated the material with an incredible amount of reverence and tried to make a product that everybody can get behind and enjoy.
It's a challenging role in a lot of ways, I'm sure, and acting being such an emotion-based craft. How do you dive into a character who, at this point, has his emotions suppressed?
The analogy I've used a lot is I'm a kid playing in a really small sandbox. Like the box in which I can maneuver and play, and the ability I have to show emotion or to express myself is all very, very small. Which means, that the setup of the series has to be that the world around John has to be very, very, very interesting. So it's an interesting place to start, but it's also a really fantastic place to start in terms of character development.
In a more literal sense, I'd imagine being in the suit probably gives some other restrictions in terms of, like, did you have to adjust how you move when you're sad or how you move when you're contemplative? Like, how do you emote when you're in a giant suit?
Just communication in general through the suit and through the helmet and, with the helmet on, all becomes a challenge. But it also aids communication in certain ways. You know what I mean? You read into a guy who's behind a mask. We put a lot of our feelings onto him. He's this heroic stand-in for all of our feelings of heroism and bravery. But now we start to take the armor off, take the mask off, and we start to get to know him a little bit as a human. The dialogue that begins to happen is the dialogue between the symbol and the human. And those are the themes that we'll start to unpack as the series goes on.
So let's talk a little bit about the bond that you formed with other members of Silver Team, both as characters and as actors.
Yeah, well, we have, obviously wonderful, compelling, fantastic actors playing them all, and beautiful humans that I now have grown to love and enjoy spending my time with. So Riz, Kai, and Vanek are the three other members of the Silver Team. Riz is played by Natasha, Kai is played by Kate Kennedy, and Vanek is played by Bentley. We had a great time shooting. We went to boot camp over in Budapest together. The bonding started early with that kind of stuff. And then we went through a almost 2-year shooting process to get season 1 in the can, because obviously the pandemic slowed us down in the middle. Through the rigors of that process of 2 years shooting together, we obviously grew even deeper and more interesting bond. I think people are going to be really excited to see these new Spartans, added to the roster, because they're all characters that have been developed for the show. Sort of a stand-in for the blue team. Now it's the Silver Team for this because we're in a separate timeline. But I think people are going to be really excited to add these new characters to the roster.
Finally, just keeping it spoiler-free, what are you most excited for fans to see in the episodes still to come?
Because it's where my personal, connection with this the most is John's journey. The journey of John accessing and feeling what it is to be human for the first time. To me, that's the thing I'm the most excited about for this season. Episode 6 for me is also one of my faves, and it just forwards the journey of John the human a lot. Charlie Murphy is the actress who plays McKee, who you've met after the first episode. But I think one of the real joys of the season is her work, and so you're gonna get to see more of that as the season develops. But everybody is so good in this show, and I'm so proud of everyone for the work they did.
Thank you so much for just being generous with your time, with your talent. Congratulations on the episode being out. And I know I speak for so many people when I say I cannot wait to watch John's journey.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the time. I'm so excited for the community to get to see this show. It's been such a long time coming, and I know there's so many feelings around it and so much anticipation around finally getting to see a live action Halo show. And I'm really, really thrilled for you all to go on the journey of this season. And thank you so much for sticking with us.
Look, you don't need to know the difference between a grunt and a brute to be obsessed with this show, so it's possible that you're coming to the world of Halo for the very first time. If that's the case, welcome. You have so much to look forward to, but I also know that it can be a little intimidating diving into such deep waters, like deep waters. So the Master Chief and I have asked Cortana to help lay it all out for you, because you know, me and the Chief, we go way back.
Hello, recruits. Cortana here. I'm a 26th century artificial intelligence, but also your guide to the Halo universe. Master Chief tells me that you're new to the world of Halo. That's okay. I'll get you up to speed in no time. Starting data uplink now. When Halo Combat Evolved released for the original Xbox in 2001, it not only marked a massive leap forward for the first-person shooter genre, but also gave gaming as a whole a brand new mascot. The emerald-clad Master Chief. Sequels, spin-offs, novels, comics, and plenty of merchandise expanded the lore. Recruited a Halo community of amazing humans just like you, and turned the Master Chief into an interstellar icon.
I'll buy us some time.
And now, he's ready to conquer an all-new medium, television. He's bringing with him Halo's rich world of aliens, epic technology, and the ongoing battle of good versus evil. Halo at its core is the story of the heroic super soldier Master Chief.
That's an order.
Trying to save the human species from a ferocious alliance of powerful aliens called the Covenant. Master Chief was made to be humanity's greatest weapon and protector. A Spartan soldier raised and trained from a very young age by the Spartan program's creator, and mine for that matter, Dr. Catherine Halsey.
It's like nothing I've ever seen.
The Covenant, united by their technology and bound by their faith, are prepared to eliminate any impediment to their quest for enlightenment. And so the UNSC, or the United Nations Space Command, deploys Master Chief to protect Earth and lead mankind to victory against the Covenant. Of course, the Chief can't do it alone. Accompanying him on this mission, along with a host of advanced weaponry and state-of-the-art vehicles, is the Spartan fire team known as Silver Team.
Chief, Covenant Phantom.
Just like Chief,
On me.
these Spartans were trained and tuned to be the ultimate soldiers in the name of protecting humanity at all costs.
Let's go!
And finally, there's me.
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
Like I said, I'm a highly advanced artificial intelligence called Cortana. I'm very much my own person, but I'm even better when I'm embedded within Master Chief's neural matrix to offer real-time tactical guidance, advice, and, when appropriate, playful banter. Someone's got to keep things light while we embark on a mission to save humanity, right? Halo the Series is a deep dive and a new perspective on this beloved universe, using familiar building blocks of the world to give existing fans and new viewers alike a unique opportunity to meet Master Chief for the first time. And now we've got an incoming transmission from a celebrity superfan. Patching it through now.
My name is Adam Cole. I am a professional wrestler. Sometimes I go by Chugs on Twitch, and I am a Halo superfan. I remember experiencing Halo for the first time thanks to my younger brother. He had went over to a friend's house and played this game called Halo Combat Evolved, and he said it was the most fun he ever had playing a first-person shooter video game. So he ended up getting an Xbox, and we would play together. And my God, the amount of LAN parties and friends we'd have over, eating snacks and drinking some soda and playing, 4v4 Halo Combat Evolved was so much fun. I was on the wrestling team, and we used to run out to the Halo theme for our wrestling meets. So yeah, definitely Halo has been a big part of my life, really since its inception. Master Chief is my favorite character, yes. As far as a overall story arc for him from Halo Combat Evolved to Halo Infinite, yeah, I love the development of his character. I love the history of his character. I love what he stands for. He's an ultimate hero, in my opinion. Recently on a wrestling pay-per-view, I came out dressed as the Master Chief, as a shout out to Halo and as a shout out for John 117, because it really has impacted me that much. So it's not just a form of entertainment for me. it really has helped me in a lot of different ways too. I'm really, really excited to see what the Master Chief brings to the table here in the Halo television series. Very, very excited about that. But aside from that, we have a lot of familiar faces in this television show as well. And I think overall, what I'm most excited for is to see the way the TV show, again, tells this story, or this particular story within the Halo universe, and how they develop the characters. I am stoked and beyond excited. For anyone who's played the games, for anyone who's a fan of Halo, we have been dying for something like this for a very, very long time, because we know how incredible the story is and how much story there is to tell. Maybe there's a ton of story that hasn't been told yet. The Halo universe is just so fascinating. You know, I could not be more excited at this. And generally overall, and I really do mean this, I want Halo to be seen by as many people as possible in as many different formats as possible, because I know how much it means to me, and I want other people to feel that same way. Halo is responsible for my passion for the video game industry and video games as a whole. And Halo is one of the greatest stories that I've ever watched unfold.
Of course, it takes more than just highly advanced armor, or even a highly advanced AI to make the Master Chief.
Hey guys, Pablo Schreiber here. We're at my home gym. Wanted to give you a little behind-the-scenes peek at the process of making Master Chief.
Master Chief, huh? Humanity's best weapon.
When I was in high school, I was 145 pounds, 6'3", so I'm a very thin, skinny person by nature. It's a challenge for me to put on muscle and to gain weight. The Spartans went through a very, very intensive process of physical augmentation.
The Master Chief was enhanced and trained for one purpose: to win this war.
So we're here trying to recreate the same physical augmentation with just iron, sweat, and blood.
Let's get started.
Let's do it.
So what we're doing, Pablo, is with him having the genetics of being a leaner person, we're trying to get him to be this big-chested Master Chief. Come on, B, keep going. Last step, burn out. Right, this guy who's won every decorated medal there is, never been beaten, right? The fact is that Pablo is the hardest worker in the room, and he always will be. Come on. So as long as he doesn't do anything too dumb, we're gonna be just fine.
At least I don't need any inspiration, because he's constantly pissing me off.
Hey, whatever gets the Chief moving. There you go, Pete, come on.
I'm eating 5,000 calories a day. It's a massive undertaking in and of itself, getting all those calories in me, perfecting the mix of 40% carb, 40% fat, 20% protein.
Come on, go, go, go.
Or cry. Yeah. You guys tired yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, susu. All right, guys, we've had a fantastic time. Thank you for joining us at the compound. We'll see you in Budapest.
When I first saw Pablo don the Mjolnir armor, it just felt like a dream come true. And Pablo just brings it to life with such ease, and he's a great leader on the set.
Last one, let's go! Let's go!
I'm about to begin my sprints.
There you go. Nice. Thank you for your leadership nonstop and dedication to these people. It's unbelievable, man, and it's awesome, and it shows through, man.
Thank you. To have the responsibility of face of the franchise, even though the face is a helmet, it's a big job. It's a big undertaking. There's a lot to do in terms of keeping myself mentally fit and happy, keeping myself physically fit and happy, and obviously just doing all the work that it takes on a day-to-day basis.
And Pablo is the perfect guy to inhabit that, because he really embodies all the values and the strength and the courage of the main character.
I can't believe it's already over. Luckily, we have plenty more episodes in store, but for now, that's it for the very first episode of Halo the Series Declassified. Thank you so much to our guest, Pablo Schreiber, and of course, my lovely assistant, Cortana.
I am not an assistant. I am a highly advanced synthetic intelligence. But you're welcome, Sydnee.
Be sure to join us next time for a deep dive into Halo's second episode, when we'll be joined by Bokeem Woodbine, who plays Soren, an old, let's say, colleague of the Master Chief's. And of course, you can stream new episodes of Halo every Thursday exclusively on Paramount+. Until then, I'm Sydnee Goodman, and to paraphrase Chief, we're just getting started. See you next time.
Squirrel.
What is it?
Nyisd már ki a hülye szemed!
Get the boss!
Oj! Eladtak!
We're fine.